Good day, everybody. It is currently the 4th of October 2013, and well, for today, here on Friday, for all intents and purposes, we have our latest Typhoon Fitow. Very well going to be the fifth named typhoon of 2013. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center already has sustained winds about 80, gusting over 100 knots around the center of circulation. JMA still yet to upgrade this to a typhoon as of making this right around 0700 Japan Standard Time, but I do think that's going to be changing in the near future as well. What also is changing, the storm system is still tracking north. We are not seeing a westward jog as well expected here, and what that means for you there on Okinawa Honto, by Saturday, the winds are really going to be picking up. As for JMA's track, they're actually continuing to waver this a little bit farther towards the northeast. During the evening hours on Thursday, they had the track as far south as Miyako-jima. Now rolling it back off there, just responding to that northerly progression. And really, I think they're going to continue to taper it off on the northerly progression as far as that center line, as long as our storm system still tracks off there towards the north. Now, like I said, right now they don't have it at typhoon intensity, but they do expect a pretty rapid intensification going through the next 12 to 24 hours, up there to 70, gusting up to 100 knots. JTWC, the agency to use if you are out here as U.S. military there on the southern Japanese islands, has winds at 80, gusting up to 100. Also, the CPA, or the closest point of approach to the Kadena Air Base, today about 67 nautical miles during the evening hours here on Saturday. That's down from about 94 on Thursday, so they're also expecting a much closer storm system. And also they put that 50-knot threshold back on a lot of the military bases, including Naha here on the southern portion of the island. So really right front quadrant, the southeastern periphery of Okinawa Honto, we're going to be seeing some high waves out here, but also those sustained tropical storm strength winds with gusts very well likely over typhoon strength based on this forecast at this time. Typhoon warnings also in place as of Friday morning for just along the southern Japanese islands and the waters off the coastline of Miyako and Ishigaki-jima. Gale force warnings in effect in some other areas out here towards the east and towards the west of Okinawa as well. So it's going to be seeing some rough seas out here, and right now we're looking at seas possibly up 7 to 8 meters high out here, and this is just looking at the forecast going through the morning hours here on Friday, and you're already seeing waves really coming on shore about 4 to 5 meters high. So definitely very dangerous rip currents. I would not recommend going anywhere near the water out here. Also just those high waves breaking, and then you're going to be seeing the risk of storm surge in some of the coves out here along the eastern periphery of the island as the storm does track down there towards the south. As far as the models go today, also ECMWF really is my model of choice. Yesterday it was a little bit farther down here towards the south. They're starting to edge farther back off towards the north, and I think that by tonight's model run around basically it should be released about 3 in the afternoon Japan Standard Time. I think that's going to edge farther towards north, and if that does so, we'll be a lot more confident on the storm system tracking a little bit closer to Naha. But even in this scenario, you're seeing sustained winds around 45 up to about 50 knots. That's that destructive quote-unquote type of winds. Gust over typhoon strength here by Saturday evening. One thing I do want to note, though, and kind of stress here, I know we've been stressing Okinawa Honto, Miyako-jima, you're also going to be hit, but northern portions of Okinawa and really along the western periphery of the island, where you're in these sheltered areas, we have that mountain chain or that hill, really just hills that run down the center of the island here. If you're in any sheltered areas, you may not be getting hit by these very, very strong winds. Obviously, you won't see the waves because you're on the western periphery. So that is something to really keep in mind as well as the storm tracks down there south of the island. So that really is something to keep in mind here, is that if you are in some of these sheltered areas on the western periphery of the island, it may not be all too bad, but it's still going to be some real heavy rain out here, some pretty windy conditions, and if it does continue to track on this northerly progression, could be even a lot worse. Now, right now, here on Friday, we do expect these rain bands to start coming ashore. We're already seeing them just off the coastline here. There's also the threat of a few of these even producing some tornadoes. You can see that tornado level 1 embedded in some of these, some water spouts possibly coming ashore. And I think that's going to be the main threat here on Thursday is that risk of some of these stronger cells pushing on shore, some short time heavy rain, maybe some local flash flooding until the water drains away just due to the big burst of heavy rain over 50 millimeters in an hour's period, and also that threat of some strong storms and those water spouts. Now, beyond the southern Japanese islands here, we're not talking about it too much, but it really is going to be a main impact into these areas just south of Shanghai. Very well going to be seeing a landfalling strong typhoon out here, possibly bringing some heavy flooding rains, the risk of storm surge along that northern periphery, especially in some of these low-lying areas. You got these winds coming on shore, likely gusting over 100 knots, and this is just going to be pushing the water all the way across the East China Sea here onshore. So there's that serious risk of storm surge with this storm system. JTWC at the point of landfall expects winds around 85 up to about 105 knots. It's going to be a strong storm system. JMA also expecting to sustain winds around 75 knots. So both of them in agreement that we're going to be seeing a strong Category 1 to Category 2 type storm coming on shore there just south of Shanghai here by Sunday night into Monday. So as for now, though, we're going to continue to watch the storm system. How much influence is our troughing still going to have on it? Because with that trough there, let's see if those models switch back towards the north, because right now it is still pulling our storm system on a northern periphery, and I'm just seeing all this cloud cover right here, and that is very curious that the agencies still want this to turn towards the west, and really at this time, I think it's still going to track towards the north. That's just looking at this here on Friday morning. That high pressure ridge is not having as much influence on it. So we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on it. Forecast is always subject to change. We've always been saying that. So the uncertainty very well could waver somewhere between Okinawa and Miyakojima. I still think this is going to be going, but closer to Okinawa Honto is my thought, at least at this time. And it even could change more so than that. So, yeah, stay safe out there, everybody. Let's continue to keep a very close eye on it. Also, one thing I want to note, we have very cold air mass plunging in across Korea and much of Japan. That's one thing that's going to keep this possibly going farther there towards the west. If you are in Tokyo, wear a jacket today. It's cold outside. Very feels really weird. I'm talking about tropical down here towards the south, and if I don't put the window, it's just absolutely chilly. So, thanks for watching.